40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim. Forty Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to tonight's coverage of the Area 51 Friday Truck Super Speedway Series here on Green White Checker TV. We have 75 laps on deck for you here tonight at the Talladega Superspeedway, and it is the final week of the regular season. We are ramping up for the playoffs and looking forward to 12 drivers getting the chance over the final 4 races of the season to compete for the championship here for the first time in 2026. And we will bring up those points for you now just to go through where we're at. And you see in the lead still Cody Nagels with a nice 269 points in first place. Vicente Guerrero, his teammate there, 253 solidly in second place. Dean Wilkinson just 8 points back there in third with 245. Robert Rockus had a really strong start to the season and still continues on with 231 points in the fourth position. Everett Lane in the number 24 with 224 points there in fifth place. Doug Webb with 206 in sixth place. Austin McCarthy having a heck of a rookie campaign there. 203 points, tied with Jack Walls at the moment for the seventh position. Back to ninth is Bud Steele with 194. Tom Dixon with 192 and one back. Paul Turner 191. They are fairly comfortable with where they're at in the standings to be able to move on and earn their spot in those playoffs there. Bob Fitzgerald might be as well, sitting at 180 points just above the cutoff line, 20 points ahead of Justin Davis just below the cutoff line. Philip Bridgman just 1 point behind Justin, and then after last week's win, Gael Brooks jumps 4 places in the standings to get up to 15th, and Gary Huffines is down to 16th with 142. Something interesting to note, Justin Davis and Philip Bridgman have not actually completed, they've missed 3 races, and we do have 2 drop weeks, which helps, but would maybe be a different story battling for the points there from 12th to 13th to 14th if Justin or Phillip were able to make one more race, but Bob Fitzgerald looks pretty solid there in that 12th position, and we'll see with the field of trucks that we have tonight, it would have to be a very poor night for Bob Fitzgerald and a near perfect night for Justin or Phillip to be able to make it, and it's still potentially mathematically possible. But with a 20-point gap, it's fairly improbable, and we will take a look at that starting grid and see where these guys are lined up and stacked up. You see them taken to the grid right now, and we will have our pole sitter of Dean Wilkinson starting first tonight for TW Motorsports in that number 55. Cody Nagels with, wow, down to a thousandth of a second is going to be in second place. So less than a thousandth of a second separating first and second place here tonight. Cody is going to grab the outside pole for that number 16, and he will start in a really solid position. Robert Rock, also for TW Motorsports, will be lined up nose to tail with his teammate just ahead of him in the 171 there. Everett Lane in the outside of row number 2. And Jack Walls will round out the top 5 starting positions for tonight. To his outside, that's Bob Fitzgerald in that 08. He's looking to have a solid but hopefully quiet night for himself and should be in a great position to lock himself into the top 12 for the championship battle. Thomas Holder there back in that 00. For Team Bootnaka is in 7th place, and we've got Paul Witt to the outside in car number 429. Justin Davis in that number 10 there. He is in 9th position, and it looks like the rest of the field electing not to qualify, so Vicente Guerrero will take the next spot in the top 10. Paul Turner and Gael Brooks will share the 6th row of that starting grid. Going on to that second page of starting results here, Doug Webb and Eric Laurie will be side by side, and on the last row will be Bud Steele and Brandon Briggs as we get ready to roll off and finish our pace lap here before we get into green flag action. Again, 75 laps, the scheduled distance for Talladega here tonight, and should be a lot of fun. Not too much to talk about, but we'll try to keep an update on obviously where Davis and Fitzgerald end up throughout the night with that point situation. But for Bob, as long as he can have a nice quiet night, he should be in really good shape, and that'll settle the final and 12th spot for the playoffs here through the final 4 races of the season. As again, we get geared up, ready to go here one last time in the regular season of 2026, at least for the first season here on Friday nights with the trucks. And it looks like we have an issue for potentially Vicente Guerrero and Eric Laurie. I don't see them on pit lane, and we have seen this from Eric a few times lately, where he was able to join practice but not able to race. Not entirely sure what the issue is for the 14 of the 071 to have missed the start there, but it looks like both of them may be out of tonight's race. Lights are off on the pace car. It'll be diving down pit road here, and we'll go through the long tri-oval before we get to the restart zone, or start zone in this case, as we'll be working on lap number 1 when we come around to the stripe this time by. And we'll wait and see how it all unfolds tonight. 16 truck field. Racing in the hot sun of Alabama here on a Friday night. Looking forward to kicking this one off. It'll be Dean Wilkinson, the control truck, patiently waiting for that start zone. Gets to it, and there it is. Green flag flies. We are racing on Friday night here on Green White Checker TV. Cody Nagels is going to jump to the high side and move towards the back of the pack right off the get-go. That's going to put Dean Wilkinson alone in that first lane, as the 171 of Robert Rock, his teammate, is going to help him push down the back straightaway. Everett, though, in the high side has a good bit of momentum with the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald, And we got a bit of a blinker there. Looks like potentially Justin Davis with an issue for the internet connection. He's back for now. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see if he needs to drop out of the field or worse, drop out of the race. And that's always a tough thing for internet connections. So, but one blink is nothing really to be worried about. It's definitely when you see them blinking constantly, that's when it gets a little more concerning. The 08 kind of he peers out and then unfortunately makes some contact, and that's going to send a few drivers towards the inside wall. And no caution yet, but that was a big moment for Thomas Holder as he's hit the inside wall. We stayed green, but we're going to try and take a look at exactly what happened here. And you saw the mismatch where the 08 goes high, tries to come back down, and unfortunately he's no longer clear, and he tags the 171 of Robert Rock, who's going to go sliding through the grass, and that gets the whole bottom lane stacked up. The 83 of Jack Walls gets shuffled out of line, so does the 10 and the 5. The 171 goes for a spin, the 00 goes for a big impact to the inside wall here, and I think just about everybody else able to get through okay and keep it rolling. But man, that was a big shakeup for these guys, and definitely really tough for, well, actually Robert Rock also just barely tapping the inside wall, and we'll see if these guys are able to get going once again. More damage to the 00 in his nose, but we'll bring it back live and try to see. The 00 is out, and now we do see the yellow fall for this first incident of the night, and we will have a restart here very shortly. iRacing doesn't always get the cautions thrown, and with the 00 and the 171 spun well onto the apron and away from other cars on track. iRacing did not trigger a caution, but the admins were quick on their feet to throw the yellow here and get everybody ready to go, re-racked and stacked and caught back up to the field. So that will be fortunate for the 171 and the 00. The 171 of Robert Rock, really not, I don't really see much front end damage. So thankfully for that truck, not too much to repair. Maybe burn a fast repair, but not sure. The 00 we know hit a little bit harder on that front end, but I mean, from a visual standpoint, the nose of that truck doesn't look too terrible. It is caved in a little bit, but obviously no major damage to that engine, but he will almost guaranteed be grabbing a fast repair. So we'll see if the 171 does a fast repair or if he is just going to stay on pit road a little longer if he has any damage to repair. But Everett Lane was the leader at the time of caution, and he's going to come down pit road as everybody is, and we actually see Eric Laurie in his pit stall now, and we'll see if he has a chance to rejoin this race. But it looks like Vicente Guerrero is still out for tonight, so we're going to see, looks like Brandon Briggs is going to roll through pit lane so that he can pit on the second time, and he'll pit on lap 4, which does give him a few extra laps of fuel, as I'm sure others will be doing the same to come back down. With a shorter field like this, I don't think track position is nearly as critical, where you're not too concerned about trying to, hold on to that. And I would say the fuel is so more critical, especially early on. Obviously it's hard to tell how it's going to unfold yet, but any chance you can get to top off is going to be helpful for these drivers here tonight. And it looks like we do have a few Robert Rock and Paul Turner also potentially involved in that incident, sitting for a little bit longer on pit road, or maybe changing some settings. But looks like Robert Rock 31 seconds and is back out on track. The 00 a normal pit stop, so it would be fairly indicative of a fast repair there, especially if we look back and see that damage fixed. But we'll do that in just a bit. We'll get ready for the pace car to line these guys back up, come back down pit road one more time, and get this race restarted. But as always, we've got a really great opportunity here under caution to bring you one of our sponsors, and we'll do that right now.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
Two by two, we get lined up once again, and about a split for half of the field here. Coming down pit road, the top 7 stay out the second time. 8th on back are going to come down pit road for an extra splash of fuel. Usually worth a couple tenths of a gallon, which doesn't seem like much, but especially with these lesser fuel loads in these trucks that we run at Area 51, it can make a difference. I know it's not going to be at a point where we'll likely reduce a pit stop before the end of the night, but who knows? It could be an opportunity to go a couple extra laps under green and make some changes, make some headway in the pit cycle. But we'll see how it all unfolds here. We're racing once again. Green flag back out on the speedway. Everett Lane, your controlled truck. Dean Wilkinson to his outside as we get up to speed at Talladega. Settling out to mostly single file action here. The 24 and the 429 working together to get ahead of the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. He's got Jack Walls, Nagels, and then Bud Steele behind him as 55 is actually going to jump to the high side to get around these two trucks. And the two teammates working together. Nobody to help for the moment. Now the 16 decides to jump up there with Dean and see what they can do to move forward. Push from the 16 through the middle of the corner, trying to make some advantage there, but they don't have any help at the moment. Is anybody else going to try and get up there? Looks like the 10 and the 39 are further on back, but the 429 from second place is going to jump up to the high side and see what he can do to get ahead of his teammate in Everett Lane. Paul Witt to the lead there, ahead of Dean Wilkinson, the 16, the 10, the 39 in the outside lane, the 24, 83, 671 in the inside lane. There's 4 trucks clear on the high side, and we've seen this move before where the high side continues to develop, and the 16 is actually going to go all the way to the top and see if anybody's going to come with him. The 10 drops to the bottom with teammate Brandon Briggs behind him. So does the 00. That puts the That puts the 00 back in behind the teammate of the 24, but then he jumps to the middle lane where 2 TW Motorsports 55 and 171 are currently, and the 16 approves to the second car in the outside lane, pushing Paul Witt and getting help from Jack Walls behind, as we are 3 wide here at Talladega, almost 4 wide. There's a bit of a checkup in the middle of the pack. The 55 almost gets split 4 wide by the 171. The 171 wisely backs out of it to avoid contact and another caution, and the 83 is going to jump on down to the bottom here and try to control this race from there, as the 10 and the 39 are trying to split the middle. Great run for the 83 by himself all the way on the bottom. Thomas Holder is going to get a chance to get up there, but not before the 83 stalls out a little bit, and the outside lane continues to march forward. Paul Witt should have an opportunity to lead this lap here with the help of the 16 of Nagels as they come across a stripe, working on lap number 9 now. So the 2 underdogs, the 10 and the 39, they're going to drop to the bottom here in turn 1. And the 55 and the 171 teammates are going to be in the middle now behind the 429 and the 16. And the teammates, the 24 and the 714, working in the high line together, trying to move as far forward as they can. So far, not clear of anybody, and a little bit of separation between the 24 and the 714. The 429 is clear, but he elects to stay in that middle lane for the moment as the 16 fades back just a little bit, getting a push from Dean Wilkinson through the middle of the corner. And the underdogs 10 and 39 still leading that inside lane with the 83 and 6. 2 teammates lined up behind them as well. Middle lane prevailing for now, but the high lane is working pretty well for the Team Bootknockers there. Now we've got the 24, the 714, and the 00 working together all the way up there, staying 3 wide for now, which is easier to do at this speedway. And now the TW Motorsports group of the 55 and the 171, they're going to jump to the bottom and try to take back control of this race. Still in the middle lane is Paul Witt and the 16 of Cody Nagels, and the help of Jack Walls for those 2 trucks pushes that middle lane forward down the back straightaway and gets that 83 clear, as all 3 of them are going to jump to the bottom ahead of Dean Wilkinson. That puts the 6 of Bud Steele out on an island towards the middle of the pack, and the 16 is going to jump back up to the high side. The 429 is going to cover, and the 83 is going to stay on the bottom, which is going to put his teammate Bud Steele further on back, as now the Bootknockers are going to try to run to the middle. At least Everett Lane and Doug Webb are going to. That leaves Thomas Holder out to the high side, unable to rejoin his teammates there, but that puts the 6 of Bud Steele, their 3rd truck in line, in the middle. 83, 55, 171 on the bottom, 24, 7, 14, 6 in the middle, 429, 16, and 00 in the top. 6 moves down to the bottom, and this is still everybody here together, as we see still Vicente Guerrero out of the race, Eric Laurie in his pit stall, but likely out of the race as well, but still hanging out in the Discord here. So curious to understand exactly what happens there for Eric Laurie, but not able to join the race here tonight. Working on lap number 11, the 55 and the 171 get back up to the lead together and drop to the bottom, and they're going to try and control this race for now. The 429 and the 16 have been working pretty well together there in that top lane. Not too many large groups of teammates here tonight, mostly 2, if 3 at the most. And now the TW Motorsports duo is going to split at the front of this field, the 55 and the 171, as the 83 and the 10 still push Robert Rock forward, and the 16 works with the 429, as Brandon Briggs jumps to the high side as well. Robert Rock returned to the victory lane for the first time in quite a few years at the beginning of the season, and has had a really strong run all year round, or all season round, as he's solidly 4th in the point standings. Really, really great run for Robert, and going to be in a good position to battle for this championship over the final 4 weeks. And sometimes that's a lot of what tonight can be about. You know that everybody has a chance to kind of reset. Obviously, we'll physically reset for the point standings there in the final 4 races of the season to crown a champion. But it's also a chance to reset and maybe, have a new mindset or continue momentum that you've carried into the playoffs from the regular season. So tonight still could be a bit of a tone setter, and your increased confidence comes from having a good run, especially as you're getting ready to get into the playoffs here. And the more that you can be ready for it, the better, as the 171 and the 55 have found themselves once again together. The 429 working with the 16 there in the high side, as Witt leads that lap, that time by lap number 13, working on 14 now. The 171 and the 55 surge ahead through the corner to the bottom lane, as the 83 and the 24 working in the middle at the moment. Solid three-wide action for quite a bit of the start of this race. We did see the incident that put the 00 hard into the inside wall on the first lap of the race. Coming to the second, admin thrown caution, re-racks and stacks, and since then it's been a pretty solid effort of three-wide action for quite a bit. And as we click off these laps fairly quickly, we're about 11 to 12 laps since our last pit stop under yellow flag condition, and we're getting closer to what could be the first green flag stop of the night. Something to mention, we do see Paul Turner is a bit off pace there. He does have the 14 of Guerrero with him, though. So Vicente is actually out on track, being shown 7 laps down. So unfortunate for Vicente, but he does have some help at least to try and minimize the loss of lap time, as Dean Wilkinson in the lead here, running 52.53 last time by. Paul Turner and Vicente Guerrero running a 53.30. Oh no, at the front of the field, it's going to be a big one. 4, 5, 6, 7 trucks involved. And second caution is out here as we jump back to the leaders. And we'll try and make sense of exactly what happens here, or what happened, as we come back to a little bit of chaos already unfolding. We'll see if we can understand how this started here. Coming through the tri-oval, you see the 171 and the 10 a little bit mismatched. Oh, the 55 gets out to the high side, just gets loose kind of by himself, hits the 24, tags the 171, and the 171 is going to go for a ride yet again. The 39 checks up and gets into it. The 10 is going to drive through the grass, and we see the 171 up and around the 714. Man, heavy damage for that 55 truck. The 00 goes for another spin once again. More contact between the 39 and the 171. We're going to try and rewind it just a little bit more and see if we can understand exactly what happened to the 55 there. But he kind of gets pushed out, and then it's weird. Like, the truck just gets kind of loose, which is, something. That's really weird to see. Let's rewind this and try to get a better idea of what happened coming through the tri-oval. So we see here 24 on the nose of the 55. Okay, so that might be exactly what explains it. The 55 is a little bit loose, and he's actually sliding high, and as he's doing that, he's trying to catch it, and unfortunately it just steps out on him, and with that is where the chaos starts, and that is going to be a big contact for the 171 and 55 to the outside wall. The 24 with some big contact as well. And it looks like most of the mid-pack here kind of getting through that. The 10 comes up and does make a little bit of contact with the 6, but really not too much of a deal here. And I think the 00, even though he does go for a spin, I don't think he actually hit anything, which is pretty incredible. Actually, take it back there. A little bit of damage there on the right rear bumper of that 00, but looks like everybody other than the 55 and 24 avoiding some serious damage at least. And we'll jump back live. So Paul Witt is actually stopped on the racetrack. Guile Brooks is, oh yeah, well, maybe if we went full speed and live, that would help. Yeah, oh, okay, that's why it's slow. Okay, Guile is, Paul Witt is stopped on the racetrack as the race leader. He is waiting for the pace car, who has caught Guile Brooks and Cody Nagels, who have stayed out. think Vicente Guerrero has also stayed out, and I think he's going to be trying to maybe get a wave around here potentially. Jack Walls comes down pit road for some Sunoco race fuel and potentially some right side tires. And Everett Lane, Justin Davis under the same strategy. 4 tires of fuel for Bud Steele and 4 tires of fuel for a few more trucks further on back. So the pace truck has caught Paul Witt. So Paul Witt will be your race leader at the moment, followed by Gael Brooks, Cody Nagels, Jack Walls, and Justin Davis in the top 5. Paul Turner, Doug Webb, and Eric Laurie spending some significant time in the pits here. Actually, Eric Laurie has done that since the beginning of the race. But yeah, Vicente Guerrero coming down pit road again here. Doug Webb spending about a minute and a half so far on pit lane and counting, likely to repair more damage, and we'll probably see him roll off as the pace car comes around here. But we'll see if anybody comes down this second time, and it looks like it's going to be just about everybody here. The 429, the 71, the 16 coming down, and they're going to get some good track position because I think the rest of the field is going to follow them down pit road here. And we'll update you on how these pit stops go after we hear from a quick word from Whiplash Simcams. little bit of an extended yellow here, but for good reason. Had a little bit of an issue. Obviously, you saw the 429 ahead of the field, and at one point it was believed that he might be a lap ahead of everybody, but as he stops on the backstretch for the pace car to catch him, he avoids that situation. But we've got that squared away and sorted out, and we were able to get Vicente Guerrero 1 lap back under yellow there as well. You're going to see a lot of cars single files. Technically, the first 3 are double file, but the 4th car of Thomas Holder on back is going to, or did come down for a second time. So mostly single file action. As we get back to green flag here, it's going to be 20 laps, working on lap number 20 as they cross the stripe. Take a minute to get back up to speed, but we waste no time getting back to the 3 wide action as we see the 16 and the 39 settling it out. Back to 2 wide here. The 55 is going to drop to the bottom. That's going to put most of the field single file, but it'll be ramping up here pretty quickly as we're working again on lap number 20 here. Jack Walls with the lead. Justin Davis, Thomas Holder, Dean Wilkinson, and Bud Steele your top 5 at the moment. Three wide action has resumed here. The 55 with the 429 in that middle lane. 39 trying to find something in the high side, but no help at the moment here. We're going to get everybody back up into this lead pack, and we're going to get Vicente Guerrero back to 5 laps down. We'll try to see if he has the ability to catch back up. Definitely a bit of a hole after having to start from the pit lane and then starting 7 laps down, but gets a lap back. Naturally there under that caution, and then gets waved around. Gets a chance to catch back up. He did pit on lap number 10, whereas everybody else in the field has last pit on 16, 17, or 18. So that does put him in a little bit of behind situation from everybody else, though granted, most of those laps were under yellow. He'll still have to pit before anybody else does. But he is in that middle of the field there, maybe trying to see if he can get up to that front and try to get a lap back the hard way. Should another yellow come out, but we're working lap number 22. The 429 gets the push from Vicente to move to the bottom there, and he's going to put himself in front of the 10 and the 83 and the 00. In the middle lane, or now the high side really, is going to be the 14, 16, 5, and 24. As the third lane has not formed yet, if not for very long, as Brandon Briggs tries to run up there all the way to the tie side, but obviously doesn't have his teammate there who's having a pretty solid run there in the top 5 at the moment there. And the 16 and the 14 trying to move all the way to the top here and try to see what they can do to control this race. So Nagels is the race leader. Now Witt surges ahead through the middle of the corner down the back straightaway. We will see this third lane really starting to form once again, and we'll see who can win this race, drag race down the back straightaway getting into turn number 3. You see Turner is your race leader. The 14 is ahead of him, which does put him 4 laps down instead of 5. So again, they're going to be pushing as hard as they can to get that 14 his lap back naturally, because then he technically gets 2 laps back should a caution come out, if he can be ahead of the leader. Three lanes forming here once again tonight, and some solid racing with a lot of action, and plenty of room to do so here at Talladega Superspeedway. Coming on the back straightaway, Nagels clearing into the lead, but employing that same strategy that they often do to try and control the high lane. Now the middle is the 29 or 39 is going to go around, contact with Jack Walls, gets them spun around. Third yellow of the night. At this point, 39's already around. Rewind and try to make sense of it all. See, the 55 makes the move to that middle lane there. And then from there, the 5 just makes contact with the 39. That pushes him up and into the wall. He tries to correct, goes for a bit of a slide, makes contact with the 24, hits the wall, and then the 83 makes a little contact with his rear bumper and makes more contact with the 83. So just the two of them pretty much involved, and as well as the 24. But yeah, that's some heavy, heavy damage, I think, to the 39, and a decent amount of damage to the front end of that 83 as well. So Guerrero is being scored as 4 laps down. And I think, yeah, he's actually catching up to the rear end of the pack. And also might be the lucky dog candidate. So we'll see. He might actually get back to 3 laps down. And if that's the case, a very, very great effort for his teammate in the 16 to push him ahead of the leader as the caution comes out. And he should be getting the lucky dog wave around this time by. And looks like he'll be waiting for it. But yeah, he should be in position to get a wave around here as the rest of the field is going to come down pit road. Dean Wilkinson, Cody Nagels, Paul Turner, Paul Witt, Justin Davis, Everett Lane, Bud Steele, Thomas Holder, Guy L. Brooks, Bob Fitzgerald, Doug Webb, Robert Rock, Jack Walls, Brandon Briggs, and then Vicente is patiently waiting to be waved around the pace car. And we should see that here at the start-finish line. It should put him 3 laps down, and there he goes. Yeah, what an opportunity for the 14 here. I think it's a great effort, and really, who knows, with how many cautions we've had just in the first third of this race, would expect green flag action to go on for longer at some point, just with the nature of the ability to do that here in this league. But we do know, obviously, it is tough sometimes. Cautions do continue to breed cautions, but the 14 was at once 7 laps down, has earned 4 laps back here through cautions and lucky dog opportunities. Thankfully for him, nobody else is a lap down, because if they were, they would be obviously the priority for those lucky dogs. But heads up play for the 16 and the 14 to get him ahead of the leader when the caution comes out, so that puts him naturally on 4 laps down, and then the lucky dog puts him 1 lap ahead of that. So even though he was just about 2 laps down, he was technically only 1 down, being ahead of the leaders. And he gained a lap back by being ahead of the leaders, which was 4 laps down at the time, and then obviously lucky dog gets him back to 3. So heads up play for those guys. We'll see if they run it back again, and if the cautions continue to fall their way to get that 14 truck back up into those lead positions there. But pretty much everybody coming down pit road for splash of fuel, maybe some 4 tires, bit of a mix here, but lights are still on the pace car, so they should shut off this time when we back to green the following time around. But yeah, another caution, another opportunity, and this time we'll hear again from 4D Racewear and all our friends, including Jim Herrick and the boys at 4dracewear.com.
4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 4D racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
A lot of trucks coming down pit road once again for the second time under caution. So another mostly single file restart here side by side with Paul Witt and Davis. Brandon Briggs jumps to the high side to grab his teammate there. That's going to promote Fitzgerald to the 4th position as he moves to the 3rd. Surging into turn number 1. Single file all the way back. Lap number 28, we are through the first third of this one, and a calamity-filled third of the race it has been. Ooh, connection hiccup issue in the middle of the pack there, it looks like for somebody. Not exactly sure, but you see a lot of trucks jumping to the high side to try to avoid that, and that's going to get that second lane formed up pretty well, led by the underdogs, the 10 of Davis and the 39 of Briggs. The 14 and the 16 are going to try and run it back once again, do what they can to get the 14 ahead of the leaders. And if they are successful and another caution were to come out, that would put Vicente Guerrero back to 1 lap down and again earn him 2 laps back within 1 caution period. Heads up play and heads up effort for that team to try and get the 14 back into contention for tonight. And thankfully for them, they are in a good position where just about everybody else on track is lap or 2 behind, and it actually looks like I'm showing Thomas Holder as the one with the connection issues. We don't see him on track at the moment, so we'll see if he can reappear or not. But the 10 and 39 move to the bottom ahead of the 14 and the 16, 2 by 2 for the first 3 rows. Another straggler on the high side further on back, but pretty much everybody else is single file in the inside lane. Lap number 29 of 75. It'll be 30 as we cross the stripe. And we will be getting closer and closer to the halfway point. As the 14 is going to jump down to the bottom. Maybe try and control both lanes. A little bit of side drafting between the 10 and the 16. 429 jumps up to that middle lane now. So that's 5 cars strong. 14, 16, 24, 429, and 5. Again, the 14 and 16 are going to try and control this race from the front. Even though Nagels is the leader, 14 is trying to stay ahead of him. Again, to be 2 laps down, which would put him at 1 down if a caution were to come out. And then at that point, less of a worry for him being laps down or more, or anybody else, should anybody else go a lap down to keep him trapped at 2. Haven't seen where Thomas Holder is yet. Still not being scored. And a connection issue likely for the 00. That was the car that was blinking in and out on the restart there. The 24, excuse me, is going to jump to the bottom lane ahead of the underdogs as the 429 continues to push the Nightmare Esports drivers of Vicente and Nagels ahead of him. We've seen this before where the 14 and the 16 have a really good job of trying to control the race from the outside lane. And they're doing so once again. They're going to stay middle here. It makes it a lot tougher for that inside lane to catch up to them. And you have to be really organized to go around them on the high side as well. Makes it difficult to make a move to try and pass these guys, because typically they'll stall out on the inside, and again on the high side you have to be executing at a very high level to push those trucks through the 3rd lane. And now as it settles out, the 16 and the 14 drop to the bottom here as they've got a little bit of a gap back to 4th place with the 429 of Witt. Sorry, excuse me, 2nd place for Witt. 16 and the 14 are going to slice and dice here. The 24 is going to go to the high side now with the 10 and the 39. And they're going to try and flip the switcheroo and see if they can get around the high side here. The 10 is going to have to be on the back bumper a little harder than he is right now. You see the push and the connection from the 14 and the 16. Does the high side have enough momentum to get to the lead? They do. And the 10 gets clear as well. Curious to see if these guys are going to stay in that high lane after they get ahead of the 14 and the 16. No, they're not. They're going to cause a caution, and that is going to be another yellow flag. And unfortunately for Vicente Guerrero, being involved is going to trap him 3 laps down. And you saw it there happen live, the 10 and the 14 tangling, 14 going around, coming back up, making the contact with a 16. Big contact for the 429, the 714, nowhere to go. The 39 gets through it okay. Man, heads up by Bud Steele, getting checked up in time. Just a little tap to the rear bumper of the 10, but what a drive for Bud Steele to slow that truck down and avoid major contact here. We'll take it back to the point of caution once again. Try to grab a little bit different camera angle and see if we can understand exactly how this started here. And we will rewind it just a little bit. So see coming down the back straightaway. Big push for the 10. The 24 is clear. And a big push for the 14 and the 16. The 24 starts to move down. The 10 starts to move him there, and the 14 is just there. I mean, covering his quarter panel. Unfortunately, not clear for the 10. And makes the contact with the 14 of Vicente. Pushes him back up the track into the 16. And the 714 just nowhere to go. But yeah, look at this play by the 6 of Bud Steele. How much he checks up. He does make a little contact there. But for what it could have been much, much worse. So huge heads up by Bud Steele there to avoid major contact. But these trucks involved, the 429, 16, 14, 10, all likely some major damage to repair after that one. And all that hard work for the 16 to push the 14 up to the lead. 14 wasn't in position, but would have been in position to get a lap back. Being involved in the caution, though, unfortunately, he is going to be trapped 1 lap down because you cannot be a lucky dog candidate if you are part of the caution. But it looks like he's going to potentially still get a wave around here naturally. He'll have to do it by electing not to pit, which, with some of the damage that he had, might be a... maybe, looking at the front, we'll try and zoom in a little bit. See if we can see. Yeah, there's a decent amount of damage to that truck. Most of it's on the side, which doesn't seem too terrible. I mean, obviously that spoiler is a little bent up, and the left front is a little beat up too, but for the most part, other than that, that truck looks to be in good shape. So who knows? I mean, it could be a gamble here. He last pit there on lap 22, and everyone pitting here on 33 or 34 under caution. So the 14 of Vicente Guerrero gambling a little bit with a lesser load of fuel and maybe trying to take the wave around here and not pit, but we'll see. Yeah, it'll be an interesting strategy regardless, and unfortunate for him to be involved in the issue to not be able to be eligible for the lucky dog. He's shown his 2 laps down because he is ahead of Everett Lane, the leader at the moment here, and if he pits, he probably will not be able to wave around, but because he was the only one who did not pit that last time around, he does get the spot ahead of the leader, and if you are ahead of the leader, you can get a natural wave around. So if it's not the lucky dog wave around, if you don't pit and are ahead of the leader, you will be waved around the pace car once it goes 1 to green, and we'll see if that is the case or if the 14 is going to come down pit road. And it looks like he will be staying out here and gambling on getting at least 1 more lap back. Before we come back to green flag action, though, we are going to see the pace car lights turn off. The 14 should get the wave around here, and we'll hear from Whiplash Simcams once again. back to green flag action we will be in just a moment here. The 24 side by side with the 39 of Briggs, the 16 and the 8371 all in the top 5. Guerrero getting the wave around, but will not be joining their back of the pack, so these guys will be catching him once again, and he'll have to be doing whatever he can. Oh no, actually, take it back. Vicente has caught back up to the pack. Okay, so yeah, so he will be 2 laps down, so everybody here is in the pack. The unfortunate thing for Vicente now, and what we kind of alluded to before, if anybody else went a lap down, that puts the 414 in a predicament where he is not going to be Lucky Dog eligible, so the 429 under that cycle does go 1 lap down, and because of it is the Lucky Dog candidate should another caution come out, and he will get the priority over the 14, so that caution was exactly what Vicente Guerrero did not need with him being involved in it, and especially now, he has about 8 laps less of fuel, actually about 12 laps less of fuel than anybody else does, and it looks like he is dropping to the back, maybe to try and save a little bit here, or potentially with some of the damage that we see on that truck, but regardless, the 14 is going to be in a bit of a pickle here if a caution does not come out soon. Lane leads the field down the back straightaway with Walsbrook, Steele, and Fitzgerald. Remember, Bob Fitzgerald looking to have a solid night to earn the last spot in the playoffs here at the end of the regular season, concluding tonight. Looking pretty solid right now for Bob as he is there in the top 5. Still a long way to go, but the way the points are shaking out, Justin Davis is earning some bonus points. Believe he does have a lap letter too. I don't think Bob Fitzgerald does. That does help, but it would be a very significant effort, and again, it would need to come with a lot of bonus points for the 10 if he were to leapfrog the 08 in points. And again, I don't think it was mathematically impossible at the beginning of the tonight, but would have been more likely if the 10 of Davis was able to lead the most laps, get those bonus points, have a clean race, and get the pole, which obviously he was not able to do. So for Justin here, he's going to have to hope that he finishes first and the 08 finishes last and somehow picks up more bonus points along the way. But that window, unfortunately, potentially closing for the 10, even though he is working his way towards the front of the field. He does have the lap car of Witt behind him, and then the 16 of Nagels as they move forward here to challenge the 24 and the 83 at the front of this field. And we are just finally past the halfway after 4 incidents early on here tonight. Everett Lane moves up to the high side to cover the 10 and try to keep his position at the front of this field. Three lanes starting to form as the 429 and the 16 are going to get up to the high side here. The 24 and the 10 through the middle of the pack. So now the 429, same principle. If the 429 can get ahead of the leaders, he will actually be on the tail end of the lead lap, which gives the lucky dog advantage to Vicente Guerrero, who has fallen off of this pack and is quite a few seconds behind. Yeah, we look and see Vicente's coming out of turn number 2 right now, where the leaders are already entering into 3, so a little bit of a deficit there already for that 14 truck, and hoping desperately for a caution to at least be able to get that truck back down on pit road. Again, he didn't pit that last caution to try and get another lap back, and it could be undone fairly quickly if he's not able to get another quick yellow here. Three teammates lined up nose to tail, the 83, 71, and the 6 in the inside lane at the moment here. Gael Brooks is the most recent winner here on Friday nights. Going to try and do what he can to get the repeat here. Some help from Nightmare Esports to get him to victory lane, but still having to earn it just as much on the final couple laps there on Friday night at Atlanta. But definitely a bittersweet moment and a wonderful win for Gael. We'll carry the, in memory of Jim Brooks, his dad, that logo for the rest of the season here at least, as we lost Jim earlier on this month. And we all know he was smiling down upon his son as he had a chance to win that race last Friday. Has another chance to do it again tonight. He is pushing one of his dad's teammates just ahead of him. Got another behind him between Jack Walls and Bud Steele. Gael is the Oreo cream filling in the Roswell Motorsports sandwich here at the moment. There is a lap truck ahead, and man, it is already Vicente Guerrero who's being caught by the leaders here. And looking at the times, this 14 truck is almost 2 seconds of a lap slower than the field, so it makes sense that they're catching him at a very high rate of speed. So this will unfortunately put the 14 back to 3 laps down. Hopefully he can hold on to the lead pack. But he is hoping that this pace continues to ramp up as this race continues on. Single file here for most of this pack. A couple stragglers in the outside lane. Looks like being led by the 429 of Witt at the moment. He does have help with the 16 of Nagels, who's once again going to try and get him up to the lead, which does help, again, Vicente Guerrero, his teammate, out. Lap 45 as we come back across the stripe. It'll be 30 laps to go, and we'll switch over from counting up to counting down and gearing up for the final stages of this race here at Talladega Superspeedway. And the 14 of Vicente Guerrero is going to be caught by the field and going to get a push from the 429 to try and stay up with this pack here. That's going to stack up the field just a little bit. 24 tries to go to the high side, but no momentum there for him and no help. Jumping back down to the bottom now, just behind the underdogs of the 10 and the 39. At the front, it's still Roswell. 83, 71, and 6. Bob Fitzgerald, Dean Wilkinson, your top 5 at the moment here. And with the quieting down a little bit here, see if we can maybe try and do a little bit of through the field. Some of these wonderful trucks here shown off. And we'll see where everybody is at. Currently first is Jack Walls after starting in that 5th position for that Delaware University or University of Delaware paint scheme there tonight. Gael Brooks in that 2nd place at the moment here in that 40racewear.com scheme. One of our wonderful sponsors here. Started in that 12th position all the way up to 2nd. Doug Webb is now working on the high side, making his way up to 3rd, now promoted to 2nd place as they come through the back straightaway here. Bud Steele currently in that 4th position and doing a solid effort in that bottom lane with his 2 teammates ahead of him there. Cody Nagels pushing a couple lap cars forward in the 429 and the 14. As he is working in the high lane once again. He's going to move forward. He's all the way up to 4th at the moment. And we'll see as the 14 is going to drop down to the bottom how much momentum that high side can hold on to. Dropping back to 6th place, this is Bob Fitzgerald in the 08. Remember, he needs to just have a very quiet, very good night, and he's been doing everything he needs to put himself in that last position of the playoff spots. So a solid night for Bob Fitzgerald so far, and if it continues, he should very easily be in that position to chase for that championship towards the end of the year here, end of the season, I should say, excuse me. Dean Wilkinson started first, but he's currently back to 7th at the moment. Still plenty of laps to go to get him back up to that lead position. And a solid effort for him so far, just kind of quietly back here in the later stages of the top 10. We've seen the 10 of Justin Davis, one of the ones who can challenge Bob Fitzgerald for that 12th position in points, but obviously that points position fairly improbable. Still possible, but lots of bonus points need to fall Justin's way, and pretty much need to see him win the race in the 08 finish last. But still doable, but definitely a challenge for that 10. But he does have the help of the car or truck behind him, which is Brandon Briggs, as he is now in the 10th position as Everett Lane works a little bit further. But Brandon having a solid night, started 16th up in that 10th position, and they did just get leapfrogged by the 24 of Everett Lane, who's making a decent amount of progress by himself on the outside. Started 4th, currently in that 7th position there, and that's everybody through the top 10. Robert Rock, that 171 truck for TW Motorsports, a really great effort so far early on this season. He did start 3rd and currently in the 11th position, but 4th in the points and having a really, really great season after opening with a win for the first time in a little while for him in that Chevrolet. Another Chevrolet behind them is the 5 of Paul Turner, currently in 12th after starting 11th. Did fall off of the draft at one point, but does hold on to it at the moment here, and just kind of sitting back, relaxing, and letting the action unfold in front of him. Further on up, it's Paul Witt ahead of the field at the moment to be the tail end of the lead lap, as he tries to get back to being on that lead lap so he can try and compete for this win here later on tonight, but still a long ways to go, and finally settling out into a solid green flag run here, as we actually see the whole field looks like coming down pit road here in the middle of our through the field sequence. Vicente Guerrero is the last one to highlight there in 14th place, and that is the entire field on pit road under green flag conditions here. So no worries about pit strategy. Everybody's doing the same thing. And it should be from here one stop to the end. And it looks like Vicente Guerrero is going to get out ahead. He's going to have the 16 of Cody Nagels with him. Then Bud Steele, Doug Webb, Dean Wilkinson, Jack Walls. No penalties for anybody on that pit cycle. And then we see now Thomas Holder is still shown as out, and it looks like it was an internet connection issue that took him out of the race for tonight, so unfortunate for that 00. And we still see Eric Laurie. Truck is on pit road, but it has been there since lap 1 and has stayed there and will likely stay there for the rest of the night. So we'll see there's a little bit of a 3-truck breakaway here. Justin Davis, Brandon Briggs, and Paul Turner are just behind our leaders here by about 3 seconds and fading a little bit. At the front, it's Cody Nagels, Bud Steele, and Doug Webb, who have it's Vicente Guerrero, Cody Nagels, and Paul Witt. They are being caught fairly quickly by Bud Steele. The gap back to them is about 1.76 seconds, and slowly that number is decreasing, and it'll decrease even faster here as they catch up to the back end of the draft of the 16 and those lead lap cars, or lap down cars I should say. So that'll put everyone through 9th likely back into this lead pack. And based on lap times, we'll see if Justin Davis, Brandon Briggs, and Paul Turner can catch back up to these drivers. A little more of a calmer middle third One caution only after 3 in the first 25 laps, but we're 24 laps to go. And getting ready for the end. We do need to make one more pit stop before it's all said and done to go the distance here to get to that checkered flag. 23 laps and counting down, though, as we continue on here on Friday nights. Doug Webb continuing to catch the 14, 429, and 16. We'll see if these guys stay to the high side or if anybody's going to try and jump to the bottom. Again, this is the best position for Vicente, as it does help him be 2 laps down and ahead of the leaders. It helps the 429 be on the tail end of the lead lap. And Vicente would get the lucky dog back to 1 lap down should a caution come out. Getting closer to the end makes it less and less probable, but still a valiant effort. I mean, to see the 14 get 5 laps back alone is pretty incredible, and something to be applauded for his efforts. Obviously unable to start the race on time. By the time he gets back out on track, he was those 7 laps down and has been doing a great job. If it weren't for being involved in 2 cautions ago, the incidents that happened there would be 1 lap down and potentially back on the lead lap after the last caution. But you never... Probably still some headset troubles here, but we are back, for now at least. 20 laps to go. Nagels leads the field. Ahead of him is the 429 of Witt, who is on the tail end of the lead lap. The 14 of Vicente Guerrero, his teammate, is 2 laps down and ahead of the leaders here. 55 trying to challenge, but no takers to help him out, and will have to settle on back in line here. So it's the 16, the 4, 17, 55, 6, 83, 71, 24, 1, 71, 0, 8, and 10. Your running order here. 19 laps to go as they cross the stripe this time by, and 1 more stop looming for the rest of these drivers. Working on lap number 19 as we cross the stripe. We'll be back to 18 to go. The inside lane has formed up now with Roswell Motorsports leading the charge. The 6083 and the 71 all nose to tail, trying to get up to the lead, and they are. Jack Walls is actually all the way up to second place, as again the 14 and the 429 do remain lap cars for the moment here. 55 now working in the high side with the Nightmare Esports guys and Paul Witt. Roswell in the bottom lane, followed by one of the Bootnakas in Everett Lane, and the 171 for TW Motorsports. A bit of a mixed bag throughout the field everywhere else. "17 laps to go this time by the 6 surges ahead with the 83, 71, 171 in the inside lane. 14, 429, and 16 are cleared to the middle now as they're going to get a push from the 29, who tries to decide to move to the high side. Plays a little cat and mouse with the rear bumper of the 16, and once again trying to make a move around him. Is going to get to the middle lane now, and he does have the help from Dean Wilkinson. That puts Everett to the lead, but does not put him ahead of the 14 or 429, who again are lap cars at the front of this field trying to earn one lap back the hard way. And doing so successfully at the moment here with the help of Nagels. So that puts everybody in the field in this pack here, 14 trucks. That'll be 15 laps to go next time by, and by then the window to the end should be open. For the first time in quite some time, we saw everybody in the pack come down pit road that last time under green flag conditions here. We'll see if that'll happen again, or if anybody will be splitting up the strategies, but the fuel window to the end is opening very, very soon. "14 drops to the middle to be pushed by the 55 of Wilkinson. That leads the 429 ahead of the 16. 24 jumps to the middle to try and control the lap truck of the 14, and he says, no dice, I'm going to jump back out to your outside and rejoin the 429 and 16 and get back ahead of the leaders to try and get that lap back. The 429 doing the same at the moment here, just edging ahead of the 24 of Lane through turns 3 and 4. Be 14 laps to go, and the window to the end is open. And man, an opposite strategy of what we see from Roswell Motorsports. A lot of times these guys are the ones who pit last. They're pitting first as the window opens and going to try and do what they can to try and control this race. They've done a really good job in the middle stages here to get ahead, and they're going to try and continue to do that, keep charge and move forward here. 14 laps to go for our leaders here. Nagels leads Lane. Wilkinson, Davis, Fitzgerald. Everybody last pitting on lap number 51. About 11 laps ago, so there is still a few more laps if you want to stretch it, and I don't think that's going to be the case, at least not for most of the field, as they're all going to come down here. Oh, the 714 goes for a slide. Does not draw a caution, but he's going to have to go through the grass, and that is going to be, detrimental. Oh, little bit of gamesmanship 4 wide on pit road at the moment here. The 24 getting squeezed off of pit road, and there's a little bit of chaos there as everybody's coming down at the same time here, and a couple of trucks wisely trying to get to the concrete there to go into ghost mode where they can't make contact with other trucks. And we'll see where everyone comes out here. The 24 is going to come out ahead of the 55. The 171 is going to do the same. And it's going to be Nagels and Wilkinson, followed by Guerrero, Fitzgerald, Turner, and Paul Witt. Justin Davis and Brandon Briggs are going to make their pit stop this time. Ooh, little wiggle for the 39. Wow. What a move for the 39 to be able to keep it under control and not spin that truck around. I thought for sure he was going around. So, man, what an opportunity Hopefully no speeding for that 39, and if that is the case, an aggressive but successful pit road entry as no penalty assessed. He is out of his pit box, and so is the 10. They'll get back out on the track, and that leaves Doug Webb, who unsuccessfully tried to pit that last time by, and will have to come down on his own with 12 laps to go, coming to 11. So that puts Brandon Briggs and Justin Davis there ahead. The pack is going to catch them and see what they can do to pass on their way through turns 1 and 2. Everett Lane led by the 171 of Rock. Then the 16 and the 14 trying to jump to the middle. 24 covering for the moment there. They're going to split him and go to the high side. And the Roswell Motorsports group, who pit first, also rejoins. They're working on the high side, it looks like, with Nightmare Esports. In the middle, it's Lane, Turner. Ooh, speaking of turn, the 24 goes for a ride, spins out, and that's going to be the 5th caution of the night, and a big impact for the 24 into the wall. So you see it here coming through the tri-oval, just a little bit of a mismatch. The 08 makes contact with the 24 after he slides towards the bottom with a heavy push from the 5, and that is going to turn him around. I don't think the 08 got much damage there, but obviously does go for a slide. I think the 24 is in a similar situation, and we'll see here as potentially actually some contact with the wall here for the 08. Yep, there it is there. So taking it back. Little bit of a slide, and both of these trucks making some contact there. Some heavy damage, though, for that 24. The 08 in a better situation, but should be able to take a fast repair or at least repair some of that damage for Bob Fitzgerald. So, yeah, that will actually, who that benefits the most is Doug Webb. And he was on an island. He had not yet come down pit road. He stayed out smartly, and with that is going to stay on the lead and also stay in a position to where he won't be lapped by pitting by himself. So, wow, what an opportunity for Webb, and a great break for him. It will be a break for the 429 of Witt, who will get a lap back and a lucky dog from this caution here, but unfortunately that traps Guerrero 3 laps down and in a tough spot to try and get back up to the lead here in the later stages of this race. So he's going to come down pit road. Kyle Brooks is going to do the same, potentially some concerns for fuel there. Fede Guerrero is also going to come down pit road as well, and so is the 24 of Lane to get some damage repaired. Bob Fitzgerald stays out on the field. Robert Rock, Dean Wilkinson, all there. You see the 429 is going to go for his wave around here to get back to the lead lap. So inside of 10 laps to go, pitting on lap 66 there. Leaders should be on lap 67. Putting us at about 9 laps to go here. So it'll be a late restart and not a few laps left in this race. Not a lot of laps left, just a few. Words are hard. But we're going to run it back once again with our friends from 40racewear.com. We'll be right back.
40 Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racing by sim racers. 40 racing shoes are engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, all the while giving you the comfort needed to complete those double and triple stints. Visit 40racewear.com and check out the latest sim racing products that let you connect to your sim.
We are 2x2 lined up once again, getting ready for the later stages of this one. Robert Rock, Dean Wilkinson side by side. On the restart here, then Nagels, Turner, Walls, Steele, Briggs, Davis, Webb, Brooks, Lane, Fitzgerald, Witt on the lead lap. 8 laps to go, 7 at the stripe here. Green flag once again on the speedway. The 171 jumps to the high side. That puts the 16 clear to the lead. And as the outside lane surges ahead, Robert Rock finds himself back in the lead with Wilkinson and Turner pushing him. These 3 trucks breaking away on the outside, trying to control the outside lane. Moving to the middle there through 3 and 4. This move has worked quite a bit so far this season. It takes a lot of effort for trucks to line up on the inside and pass, or to go around the outside. But TW Motorsports drivers in Rock and Wilkinson, nose to tail here. There'll be 5 laps to go as we come across the line this time by. couple trucks out into the wall there as the high line continues to prevail. The 171, the 55, the 5, the 429, and the 14 there now. The 10, the 24, and the 39 trying to work in that bottom lane, but everybody else really moving towards the middle and the top as the 14 and the 429, and nope, not the 714, but they jump down to the bottom there. Still, now fourth position is the 429, but still a lap down is the 14 of Guerrero, who is in the lucky dog position, but still trying to earn his laps back the hard way and get back up in the mix. Was looking promising in the middle portions of this race with lots of chaos and lots of opportunities, as the 171 and the 55 are going to jump back down to the middle lane to cover that. They're going to be ahead of Nagels here. 4 laps to go. Rock leads the middle lane. The 10 being pushed by the 24 and the 39 in the inside. The 5, the 08, and the 6 working in the high lane. As a little swiggly off of turn number 2, and down the back straightaway they go. Three wide here, the 171 and the 55 continue to hold on. They move to the high side as Nagels gets clear to the inside of the 55. Nagels moves forward. Has a chance to lead this lap. It'll be 3 to go at the line. Middle lane and high lane prevailing for now. The bottom lane has fizzled out with the 10, the 24, and the 39. Robert Rock continuing to lead the outside. The 16 of Nagels continuing to lead the middle as the 6 shoots the bottom. And 83 is going to try and get down there as well, but I don't think he'll be able to. Not clear enough as the 10 and the 24 now get below the 6 of Steel heading into turn 3. Two by two inching back and forth are the middle and outside lanes. Nagels and Rock continuing to trade back that lead. 2 laps to go. Give it to Rock at the line. He has Wilkinson and Turner behind him pushing hard. And the 55 and the 171 are clear as the 16 in the middle lane not quite connected with the 429 at the moment. Having to jump down to the bottom lane to try and side draft aggressively to see if he can make progress back towards the front, but the bottom lane shows up once again, now this time with the 714 at the point, as the 10's going to drop to the middle here and leave the 714 to dry. But that will put him back to his teammate in Everett Lane. As the 10 controls the middle lane, it's going to be white flag this time by Rock. Should be the one who takes it here with the help of Dean Wilkinson. I mean, one time to go around, does Rock have the opportunity to win for the second time this season? Does his teammate Wilkinson try to get out of line and get one for himself? Does Turner get his first win of the season? The 10 of Davis is in a great position there. He does have a 16 of Nagels, who has had quite a bit of success this season. Just behind him there, and oh no, as I say that, the 10 and the 16 make contact, and they're going to go around, and it is going to be chaos ensuing behind, but it is Robert Rock with the steady push from Dean Wilkinson and the breakaway. The 2 teammates coming to through turns 3 and 4 ahead of the incident, but wait, it is the Bootnakas 7, 14, and 24 with a head of steam coming through turns 3 and 4. Is it going to be enough? Are they going to have time to get there? They're catching, but it might be too little too late. Robert Rock will go back-to-back this time, this season. 2 wins for the 171 and for TW Motorsports as they sweep the top 2 positions. Before we get to those interviews, we're going to take a chance to go back through how it all unfolded with those race results and show you here. Robert Rock coming home with that victory for GW Motorsports, the 1-2 for him and Dean Wilkinson. Doug Webb in the 714. Not enough time to get back up to the front there. Everett Lane giving him the great push, and Brandon Briggs coming home with a solid top 5 finish. Cody Nagels having to settle for 6th after making contact and being involved in that final incident there tonight. Bud Steele in number 6 truck having a really solid night all night long. And Bob Fitzgerald in the 08. That should put him pretty solidly into those playoffs as the final driver to transfer in and will compete for the championship over the final 4 weeks. Paul Whitten, the 429, able to get back on the lead lap and improve by a few positions there, coming home in that 9th position, solidly in the top 10 after spending a lot of time in that 13th position, 1 lap down towards the later stages. Jack Walls with a solid effort tonight for Roswell Motorsports. Had a good car, good truck, and some really good execution from his teammates, but unfortunately coming home in the last spot in that 10th position. A lot of shakeup for Paul Turner, Justin Davis, and Gael Brooks, who were involved in the caution on that final lap, losing a lot of ground and settling for the 11th through 13th places respectively. And Vicente Guerrero, and what a opportunity he had to try and get back to about 1 lap down, and then unfortunately caught up in one of the cautions, unable to get the lucky dog, and then the 429 goes a lap down in the same caution and keeps the 14 from getting any lucky dog action from there on out. Thomas Holder in the 00, we noticed the internet connection disconnecting early, and then Eric Laurie unable to start the race tonight, but a solid 16 truck field for the action here. And now we will take it back through and get to those interviews and see if we can hear more from the drivers about how it all unfolded, starting first with Doug Webb, as we'll bring him up into the broadcast booth and say hi to the 714 coming home in that 3rd position. Doug, a great effort for you guys. Almost had a shot to get there at the end, but unfortunately a little too late with the help of your teammate, but still a solid effort to get all the way back to 3rd after some of the chaos on that backstretch there.
Yeah, that was quite interesting. Yeah, my teammate Everett, he was giving me one good push, and we just needed a little bit more track. I think we could have got around them guys, but man, I tell you what, that was fun. That was fun. That was good a good race. Hats off to Robert Rock and Dean. Them guys up there won too. They did a good job.
Yeah, it seems like you guys had a pretty decent strategy for that. Obviously, for the most part, you and Everett kind of in the mix just about all night long. Um, and I mean, obviously a little bit of chaos, but I think for the most part, you guys were able to avoid most of it, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, I think we got caught up a couple times. Everett got caught up in something early on with Dean, I believe. I'm not sure what happened, and then uh, I got caught in something. Uh, Something happened there. I don't know if it's the draft package on these trucks or something just seems a little off with them. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know. Typically in the past, we had never really seen anybody be able to control the high side more like we have, obviously, in these trucks that we've seen, and obviously in the Cup Series in the real world. But seems like these trucks, obviously, for whatever reason, the last couple updates have lended to slightly more aggressive, but also somewhat more stable but aggressive racing. And I mean, by now it's been a decent amount of laps on these trucks in this configuration. But maybe take us through some of those changes and how the racing has evolved over the last couple seasons.
Yeah, you can tell that the High Line it was really working good. It was fast. Um, I wanted to stay up there personally, but uh, just things transpiring throughout the race led me down to the bottom there, and So yeah, I think the draft package has changed, and the Highline's good. I like it. I prefer it.
Well, you guys definitely had a pretty solid effort for Team Boot Knocker here tonight. Obviously, yeah, coming home in the third and fourth positions. Little bit too little too late, but still a chance at the end to try and get a good push and roll that red carpet out there for right now for anything. So shout out to give for that third place finish here tonight, Doug.
Yeah, just my teammates, Everett Thomas, he had a rough evening with things going on and incidents and stuff like that. Eric wasn't able to race; he's still healing up from his eye, so we hope, wishing him the best. And just shout out to you guys for what you do in Area 51. It's always a good time racing over here, and I want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you as well, Doug. Hopefully get a chance to talk to you soon, and congratulations on that top three tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Moving right along, we're going to get into some of the TW Motorsports drivers. Dean Wilkinson had a really good night for most of the night and has an opportunity to come home in that second position. Stays steady and quiet on that final lap, avoids the chaos, pushes Robert Rock to the win. But enough of me talking about it. Dean, what did it feel like from in your position in the driver's seat?
That was one of the more fun races we've had in recent days. I'm glad we were just able to race and have fun racing instead of fuel saving and it being a fuel race because I don't find those fun. But this was a good race tonight. This was fun.
Yeah, I mean, you seemed, I know obviously there was quite a bit of chaos, but I mean, especially you and Robert really seemed to be in decent position for most of the night and, getting a chance to control a lot of the aspects of it. Um, and correct me if I'm misremembering, but I don't remember too many major issues for either of you guys throughout the night.
Well, I caused the first caution. I think something happened. I lost my tailgate, or I don't know, there was a glitch. There was something happened. It felt like my both my rear tires went flat, and then Everett got well. I mean, not intentionally, just because of the glitch sent me sideways, and I couldn't hold on to it. That was about the only one that I was involved in. I was able to avoid those other ones.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but I mean, obviously a solid recovery. I mean, you guys were right there up at the front, and obviously towards the later stages, you guys were in pretty good position. Was there? I mean, I'm assuming obviously there's always worry that some line's going to form and push their way to the front, but you guys really kind of controlled a lot of the later stages of, especially after that final caution. Was there any strategy to how you guys were trying to attack that, or was it just go where you can and take the opportunities where they arise?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, with this draft package, you really can race anywhere if you have enough trucks. If you get stuck in the middle by yourself, then you're going backwards. But if you're in the high line with four trucks or in the bottom line even with four trucks, I mean, because I don't know if you noticed the bottom line was leading there for quite a while,
Yeah.
and then it was at the end of the race the high line. It just it you have four or five good trucks that can stay in line. I think you can dominate in any of the three lines. Um, but with the draft package, you get stuck in the middle with less than three, you're gonna go backwards. So that's why I like it. It's fun because you can the fact that you can do that.
Yeah, indeed. Well, obviously, last race of the regular season, you and Robert Rock solidly in the top 12 there and going to be reset to an even field for the final four races. How does the mindset shift from these first 10 races of the season into the final four as you gear up for trying to compete for a championship here at the end of the season?
It's the same as regular season. I just want to go out there and have some fun. If I win, I win. If I top 10, whatever. I just want good racing. No fuel saving, no just three wide. You know, balls to the wall. Let's have some fun. That's what I like.
Well, it looks like you guys had quite a bit of fun out there tonight and had a good chance doing it to come home 1-2 with the teammate there. We'll roll that red carpet out for you now. Any thanks or shout outs you'd like to give for that second place finish and the 1-2 for the team?
Well, congratulations to Rock. Good win for him. Um, Thank you to you guys for the broadcast. Area 51 for the league. Rock teammate Bob. Bob, I think he finished eighth, so he did a top 10. He did all right.
Yeah.
And as always, you can't have these fun races without good drivers. So I appreciate the good drivers. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, well, congratulations to you, Dean. Congratulations to the team as well, and hope we get a chance to talk to you guys soon over the playoffs here.
Thank you, my friend.
And with that, for the second time this season, we're going to talk to the driver of the 171. That is Robert Rock, and he gets the opportunity to win once again here in 2026. Robert's got to feel good to have 2 wins on a season. I know it's been a little while since then, and yeah, I mean, you guys seem to be on firing on all cylinders pretty much throughout the night tonight.
Yeah, I mean, definitely wasn't planning on it. I mean, I just wanted to get some points, and then once we got in that first wreck, uh, I didn't have to use a fast repair or anything, but I got the damage fixed, got back up in the mix. Then I think I had to use a fast repair, so I figured, well, I'm just going to stay in the back for a while, get some green flag laps in, and then you know, just hard to stay back there. You end up getting right back in it, but yeah, got good pit stop there with Dean and got up front and everything seemed to work out there.
Yeah, you guys seem to have a pretty good control of the race, especially towards the later stages there after the final, what ended up being the final yellow flag. You guys right up there at the front, and as the chaos kind of ensued behind you, you guys were in good position. I know, obviously, we saw the 714 and the 24 coming with a good run after some of the chaos. Was there any worry that they would get to you guys, or were you pretty confident that you had a pretty good push from Dean to get there all the way back around to the start finish line and grab that victory?
Yeah, I mean, usually, when you got Dean behind you, you're pretty good. You don't have to really worry about anything because he's checking his mirror, telling you where to go or whatever, where the run's coming from. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you guys executed at a pretty high level and really have all season long. I mean, obviously, like I mentioned, you begin the regular season and you end the regular season with a victory. But I know obviously coming into tonight, I think fourth in points, probably fourth or third if you didn't move up this week. But a solid effort to be in the top four of the point standings throughout the regular season. How do you carry that momentum into the final four races here and try to see what you can do to win a championship for yourself here?
well, I think we just keep doing what we're doing. You know, more just having fun. Try not to really pay a whole lot of attention to the points. You do, but you don't. But yeah, seen when the line was running around on the high lane there for a while. I was just hoping somebody was going to start getting the train diving to the bottom there instead of just driving around. I seen Dean go down there a couple times, but I was too far back to catch him. And then I figured Everett might end up going, and then as soon as he went, I'm like, all right, I'll go with him. Try to get this going again instead of just riding around. But yeah, it's all about having fun.
Oh yeah, I know Dean honestly said the same thing, and it looked like you both were having quite a bit of fun, and always good to be rewarded with a 1-2 finish for the team. So congratulations to you guys, and we'll roll that red carpet out if you want to give any thanks or shoutouts for that second victory of the season here, Robert.
Well, I appreciate it. All you guys at Area 51 and Green White Checker here. Um, definitely all the drivers. Definitely fun. You know, being able to side draft and yeah, do all that good stuff. Thank my teammates, Dean and Bob there. But yeah, appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations once again, Robert, and hope we get a chance to celebrate this victory here tonight a little bit.
Right on. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
You as well. Thank you, Robert. So, yeah, awesome. That was, man, quite a few cautions, but I mean, for the most part, I think, I mean, pretty positive response from some of the drivers. Obviously, really, only get to talk to three, but um, for how many cautions we had to have all but 3 trucks in the field competing for the victory towards the end, I think is a pretty solid number. I mean, obviously, I think still a testament. Obviously, some cautions, way more than we're used to at times. But we did still get a green flag pit stop in there, and saw some, some really great racing, some 3 wide action for quite a bit through the middle stages, and a really good run to the finish. But TW Motorsports coming out on top, and yeah, it just goes to show, it definitely makes a difference when you can get another teammate to work with you there. We saw it at the end, the top 2 and the first and second and third and fourth, 2 sets of teammates there back to back, and making some pretty good headway there on that final lap. But victorious for Robert Rock for the second time this season, a solid season for him so far, and as well for Dean Wilkinson. I think he's also solidly in the top 5 in the point standings here. And we won't have point standings updated yet, but we'll bring up the points from beginning of tonight. Everybody you see in the top 12 is going to remain the same. The points and the orders might change, but that doesn't matter, because coming into next week, they'll all be reset to 1,000 points, and everybody will have a chance for a clean slate to compete over the final 4 races in the top 12 for that championship. So Nagels, Guerrero, Wilkinson, Rock, Lane, Webb, McCarthy, Walls, Bud Steele, Dixon, Turner, and Fitzgerald, all making it into the chase to try and win this first championship here on Friday nights here in 2026. So we did hear, I think it was maybe Doug or Dean, but they said see you guys next week, and we're actually going to change up the schedule a little bit. Obviously realizing next week is a holiday, or next weekend is Easter weekend. So we're going to take that weekend off, and it's kind of a good time to reset, I'd say. Gives us a chance to take a week off, get prepared for the playoffs, and we'll be back on April 10th, 410. For all you sprint car fans out there, 410 April. That'll be the first race there at Atlanta. Daytona is going to be the 17th. Atlanta will be running it back again on April 24th, and then Talladega May 1st for the first final race of the season, the final race of the playoffs, where we will crown a champion. And all of that action, as always, will be here on Green, White, Checkered TV. And always as well, the Sunday night Gen 6 series is going to be the same schedule, just 2 days behind. So they're also going to take, obviously, that Sunday of Easter off. And we hope you all have a wonderful and safe holiday. If you're traveling to see family or anything like that, hopefully safe travels and a very, very happy Easter to all of you. We do have more action we always have to highlight for the Tuesday series as well. Don't forget, we still have the IndyCar series here at Area 51. It is being shown by another group. Obviously, P1 Broadcasting has picked that up for this season, and I want to continue to say thank you to them for taking a little bit off of our plates here at Green, White, Checkered TV. Allows us to bring you better coverage and have a little bit of a break from all the action, especially for my boss, Mr. Guy Brooks, who does so much to keep this thing here running and keeping the lights on. But thank you to P1 Broadcasting. IndyCar Tuesday Area 51 Racing Series. They will be at Iowa this coming Tuesday. Then they'll go to Richmond on April 14th, Charlotte April 28th, the Indianapolis 500K on May 12th. Dover will be May 19th, and then Gateway June 2nd. And looking forward to seeing how that season shapes up for the first season of IndyCar racing on Tuesday nights here in 2026. So yeah, with that, Sundays and Fridays are moving along into the final 4 races. Obviously, you will not want to miss in 2 nights' time. There's a really great battle shaping up for the points for Sunday nights. Obviously, tonight coming into it, there weren't a lot of drivers in position to try and make the champion or the chase for the championship there, but quite a few drivers there just around that cutoff line. We've got so Gary Huffines comes into Friday night 176 points And if you go back just 8 points, you can find Philip Bridgman in 16th place. So that is 5 trucks even, that are vying for that spot. Throw Bob Fitzgerald in 11th in the mix, as he's got 179. So it is only 11 points separating 11th all the way back to 16th. And that will be plenty more action to keep an eye on, and a lot of fun that we've been having on Sunday nights. So make sure you tune in 2 days' time to see that. We'll take the break, 1 week off again for the Easter holiday. And again, wish everyone a happy Easter and safe travels. And if you are getting a chance to see some family and some loved ones. And yeah, I think that'll do it for us here on Green White Checker TV. For myself, Boomer Logan, for Guile Brooks, our boss man here at Green White Checker TV, for all the people at Area 51, all the drivers, and all the fans watching in the stands at home. We thank you all, and we say good night, take care, and have a great week.